Wow, Governor Kathy Hochul says it's war. Amazing. Texas Democrats left the state just because of some redistricting controversies, but it goes deeper than that. So let's roast that on Prime Roast with Angie Wong. Welcome, Roast Nation. And Angie, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and Kathy Hochul and others have a lot to worry about because it's not just redistricting. It's also the Supreme Court that's going to make a ruling, probably in President Trump's favor, in which you cannot draw district lines around race and gender and all the other stuff that they were trying to do. Basically, they were trying to draw these like weird amoeba lines in congressional districts that made no sense, but pretty much looped in race. So that's going to go away. And on top of that, today, President Trump announces on Truth Social that he is ordering for a new census to be taken that removes all illegal citizens here. Illegal citizens? I don't even know if that's even something.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah, they're undocumented citizens according to Democrats, but they're really illegal immigrants. I want to interject here because Wilbur Ross proposed this back in the first Trump era, before the 2020 census, and he was shouted down loudly by the Democrats over this, and he couldn't do it. But at this point, as long as Republican leadership stands through 2020, at least in the executive branch, and 2030. Boy, I'm getting old again. At least through the executive branch and the legislative branch for the most part, then that could work. But a new census would be very costly. The idea is keep it until 2030 and then make the counts. This way, people have to kind of deal with congressional districts with an American citizenry rather than a mocked up, illegal funded, inflated population set of numbers in certain areas.
Yeah, no, I like this mid-decade recount because we know that there, I know in New York anyway, during the last recount or census taken, they weren't allowed to ask if you were an American citizen. So when the census taker comes knocking on your door or stopping you in the street, they can't legally ask you if you belong here. So who did they count? We're going to recount the whole thing. And you know what? Democrats are scared because they're poised to lose about 30 to 40 seats. And that is if everything works out well. But even if we just do the redistricting in all the states that beyond Texas, we're looking at Florida, who can pick up 3 to 4 seats. We're looking at Ohio. We're looking at Missouri, Kansas, Kentucky. We could pick up somewhere between 13 and 15 seats now. Okay. That is going to end the Democrats for a while.
And they all know it. But I don't like the idea of redistricting right now. I believe the districts should be changed after the census. The census rules need to be transformed positively, as we're discussing. But this could open the door for other states doing the same thing years down the road at will. Here's my issue. The Texas Democrats are realizing that Texas wants to switch to a geographical more a population-friendly, I would say, a map. And again, they probably should wait till after the 2030 census. That's my humble opinion. But these Democrats are just left town illegally. They left town. This is not the first time they did it. It's the second time when they didn't feel like facing a vote. They thought they could stop justice, obstruct by leaving the state and hiding behind. Now they're hiding behind J.B. Pritzker, which, by the way, I believe they all can. The thing is, where they're going to put their cats.
I don't know, but not only did they leave their cats behind, they also left a whole lot of bills on the floor that won't get voted on. I mean, remember, Texas just had a huge flood. They need emergency services. They need a bunch of stuff happening, and they abandoned those people as well. So, I think that's a derelict of duty. I'm so happy that Ken Paxton, the AG of Texas, is going to go looking for them. There are apparently, I think there's some arrest warrants out there. I'm not sure. I did see one report that stated that. I think that they're trying to pass a resolution right now. I just saw it earlier today that Texas, if you miss more than 7 votes or 7, the equivalent of sessions, then you're out. So guess what? Special elections are on their way in Texas. And I hope the other kind of purple, pinkish, red states are listening as well, because, you have the power to do so now.
Well, the other problem is you can make martyrs out of these people too if you throw them in jail for too long. It's going to be a slippery slope for these guys. But what really is bothering me is the media narrative over this. Texas is not the first state to try to pull this off, but we don't hear about it when it comes to Democrat states. I understand Gavin Newsom is trying to shoot back and say, well, we're going to do the same thing. Yin, 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 California. Well, they've already been, let's say, friendly redistricted. The one thing that truly bothers me with this whole discussion here, this whole back and forth about redistricting and gerrymandering, is that any notion that Kathy Hochul is retaliating, any narrative from the media that's suggesting that Kathy Hochul is retaliating with her gerrymandering plan and the New York Democrats' gerrymandering plan against Texas is a complete lie. They've been trying to pull this off for years. The New York State has, let's say, like a committee that deals with election map integrity, and they forced New York to geographically place or geographically map out their districts. The Democrats have had a few of their gerrymandered plans refused and sent back to the drawing board. Now they got stuck with one, and it winds up the people in New York had different ideas than the Democrats had when it came to congressional candidates. So the Republicans gained quite a bit of seats in the last election, 2024. So they went full steam on trying to gerrymander again. She is lying. And here she is doing the same thing to the press just the other day. So let's hear what she has to say, claiming it's a war, claiming she wants to retaliate against Texas, but she's really lying through those clenched teeth.
We will not stand on the sidelines with the timid souls on the sidelines who don't care, will not invest their heart and soul into this battle. This is a war. We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
You're lying. Don't give me that. The gloves were off a long time ago. The New York has been working on gerrymandering for years, as I just said. She is absolutely tagging on to this. And of course, the mainstream media obliges because they can't be bothered to research, yet a simple Google search from any of our viewers and listeners would actually reveal what the Democrats have been trying to pull off the last many years.
Yeah, here's the problem for the Democrats and any governor of Democratic states. They've completely jerry-rigged the gerrymandering because there's nothing left to carve out. Like literally the last house on the block has been carved into whatever they can get and squeeze. And Democrats have been really good at it. They control the courts, so the courts will, ultimately a judge will have to decide which map is going to work. And it almost always goes to a Democratic favor. So there's nothing left to squeeze. They've been doing this for decades. We have just caught on to the game recently. I saw this happening in California where, if you look at the maps there, it's hysterical. You've got every last Democratic household like squeezed into like one little district. So they have nowhere left to go with this other than to, let Trump have his way and let the governors redraw these maps in a way where they get squeezed out this time. So I suspect a lot of this will end up in the courts and a judge will have to decide. Again, we're allowing judges to interfere with elections. This is not cool, man. But, it's going to be a fight. Can we get it done by 2026, Chris? What do you think?
Look, again, I don't want to see redistricting done in a crazy way where you have these weirdly shaped districts just to bring more people of a certain party in. This is something we tried to stop back in New York. This is the 2000 New York congressional district map. You see this thing? Look at the monstrosity here. I'm going to explain a couple of these districts to you. My district is down here, number 20. That looks geographical, right?
Yeah.
That looks fine. That was changed over the years, too, to kind of bring in some lefties from Dutchess County and part of Westchester at times to bring them in or change the dynamics here in certain parts of Orange County. Again, that was done in the future. Look at District 22. District 26 is probably the worst of them all, and District 25. You can see a few of these geographically sound districts here in the Western New York and, of course, Long Island.
Yep.
I like to say it that way. But look at 22, where it's all stretched up and around. It goes around the Capital District, which is 21. That's fine. But 22 is like, it kind of takes where part of 24 should be. Again, you're talking about you're talking about some of the northernmost areas versus very close to the mid Hudson. There are several different issues there. This is what New York used to do. I want you to look at 26 too, and I want to get your thoughts on this one. You remember Maurice Henchy?
No.
We had a far left Democrat Socialist caucus caucusing congressman just north of me named Maurice Henchy, and New York's Democrats would do anything to protect his seat. He was also a disciple and worker. He was a disciple and he worked with Howard Zinn. Mm. He always had this district which changed numbers, but District 26 is a similar. Look how interestingly this is shaped. He has the Hudson Valley. He has Poughkeepsie in the Hudson Valley here. I believe that Newburgh was in there every once in a while. We had Poughkeepsie, then it kind of sucked down to some Democrat areas in Orange and Sullivan, went through. Not every area in Sullivan. Some of that's up a little ways here. You go over and under through these other weirdo counties, get a bit of Binghamton and Ithaca in there. Because they were
Ithaca's further up, no?
Ithaca's around here. And he actually had Ithaca for a while. I believe if Ithaca's not in this particular map, he had Ithaca for a while. He had Poughkeepsie all the way over here, Ithaca and Binghamton all the way over this way. Now, so these areas have absolutely nothing in common except they're loaded with lefty voters.
Yep. And you know what? I love what JB Pritzker said. He was on one of the late night shows, and he was presented a map of Illinois, which was even worse. Yes. And he's like, yeah, we gave it to a kindergarten class to draw it out.
Well, technically, the lefties did draw it out, so it's the same thing. These are the same people who will be buying Kamala Harris's 107 Days book, never opening it because there's no adult coloring book sections in there. Just put it on the shelf to show people, hey, look at me. I have a Kamala Harris book.
Oh my gosh, is that who's buying that book? I was trying to figure out who the audience is. It's really just to have it on your shelf. No one's ever going to read it. It's just going to be just like that spine that you get to see oh wow, she's she's the right person to speak with.
Well, look how gerrymandered this 13 is right here, District 13, where it's just like some kind of curved, somewhat crescent belt, if you will.
It looks like a cat.
Yeah.
It's a cat trying to chase its tail.
12 is a different district. 13 is just the tail.
Oh,
how bad is that? And you think that's been 15 is all the way up here and all the way over here. This is not geographic. The concerns of people on this end of the map here for 15, certainly, I don't live in this state, but I live in New York where I've seen this happen. Certainly likely do not have the same interest as the people over on the top, on the northwest side. The extreme northwest side. Look at 17. These are all districts just to get fudge a certain result. Forget
Why do we
Make it geographical.
Why do we do this? This is so silly, you guys.
They do it to gain advantage.
Oh, I know, but
the Democrats don't want you to know their pants are down. That's it. USAID money is not going to be coming back to their causes. Act Blue is under investigation or will be very soon. I let that loose too soon. Listen to Dr. Jerome Corsi's show.
No, I hear the same. And I'm very happy to see all that because now we're going to see what kind of foreign money has been washing into Democratic campaigns. So I'm excited for all of this. It's like ever since Trump took office, it's literally like seatbelt time because everything's been super, super fast. And it's like, I'm just catching my own breath, trying to figure out, okay, what's the next move? Yesterday was Apple. Today is redistricting and also new census, which I know Chris doesn't like. I love it because we have no idea who we've let into the country. And on top of that, you're going to find out that the border states have taken on a whole lot of new people. Now, do they count? Do they not count? I'll leave that to the census takers. Are we going to get it all done, Chris, before midterms?
Oh, here's another. I probably should just back down a little bit or back off a little bit on the not liking the census recount earlier. I believe that's a good thing for now because of the situation. One could declare some kind of emergency situation for that at this point because there was an inaccurate. One can claim truthfully an inaccurate count in 2020. that would be fair under that circumstance. But it does open the door for a leftist government to say, well, I don't know. I don't like the fact that they didn't count illegals. So in 2033, let's do the same thing. So we have to remember, unlike Democrats who would use the nuclear option to nominate judges, they and turned the tables on them a few years later on. Remember, foresight should be involved when it comes to making a big move like this, because the other team can use it, or the other people can use it for their means.
I hear you, but I like it when we're winning, and that we're winning all over the place. I think we're going to pretty much make Democrats the minority party going forward, at least for the next 2 generations. I'm okay with that. I want to be part of the winning team.
That's fair, but we thought that back in the 2000s. And when one party has too much power, there's always some faction of it that helps them or makes them drop the ball. And there's an issue with that. Now, I understand the Republicans and Democrats are both deep staters in the long run here. So let's just keep that in mind. They like the idea of keeping us divided and keeping that pendulum swinging, even if they have to mock it up. And of course, here is Eric Holder, who is trying to convince, I guess, the Mockingbirds on MSNBC, whatever that station is that's fading there, trying to tell them, hey, I have a great idea. Why don't we just not certify the 2028 presidential election because of Texas? Again, not because New York, California are planning to gerrymander, not because Democrat states do it, but because one Republican state decided to try to go a little more geographical.
This is not a Texas problem. Yeah, the focus of this issue is Texas, but this is a national problem. And you got to understand, if somehow, some way, Republicans are able to hold on to the House in next year, and in spite of the fact that I think they should lose because of the big budget bill that took healthcare away from millions of people.
He does repeat that, by the way, on almost every interview. I watched some other ones. He always had to stick that bill in there. He always had to, it's going to affect millions of people. By the way, he's lying about it, the whole big, beautiful bill thing.
They gave tax breaks to billionaires who didn't need it. If they were somehow able to hold on to the House in 2026, that is the House of Representatives that would have to certify who won the presidential election come 2028, 2029. Now, if you want to play with fire, and that's what we're doing here, you put in a bunch of partisan hacks who are not supposed to be in the House, who are there because of gerrymandering and a whole range of other things.
Like Illinois and New York in the past, and of course, probably the future.
Get this guy out of here. Oh, he's making my ears squeak. Okay. He's clearly vying for, some sort of position. I don't know. I haven't heard his name come, he hasn't been relevant in a number of years to me. It's kind of funny that he is now coming out of the woodworks to speak. They're scared. That's what this comes down to. They're literally running scared. They're running to other states scared and hiding out. This is your Democratic Party, you people. This is what they do. They don't do their jobs. They run and hide. Do you want this?
And here's a suggestion.
Then put at risk the possibility that body would not certify who the next president was. That's why this is a national problem. This is not something only the Texans ought to be concerned about.
This will be a fight, Angie, but the fact is that 2030 census should be changed, and that's something that has to be done. We should not be counting non-citizens when it comes to setting up congressional seats via the census.
Yeah, I'm all about fighting. Bring it. As Kathy Hochul says, bring it. Yeah, I'll bring it. We'll all bring it, but you're going to lose because that's what the math shows you. So what are you bringing exactly? You're just bringing a lot of attitude. Okay, we could do that all day long. What she doesn't realize is that she's fighting another New Yorker, and his name is Donald John Trump. And he is going to beat up all these states because he knows how to win this now. He is playing it so cool. And I love this version of Donald Trump. He is just he knows what he's doing. He's super confident and he's having fun. You could see it on his face. He's smirking all day long.
Yes, he is. And by the way, one more thing, Howard Stern the talk is now that Howard Stern's show is the next to go out of all the woke hosts on television. Wokeness is dying when it comes to entertainment. Apparently, I suppose false algorithms, bots, and anything kind of let's say, holding it up artificially, holding this whole wokeness situation up artificially has kind of died down. We saw Stephen Colbert went down. He's not going to be renewed after his contract's up, and he's trying to get fired. Howard Stern may not be renewed after his contract lets up, although Sirius may just offer him a contract for less, hoping he'll back out. If he stays, he stays, and it's not going to matter. The fact is, though, going woke has not only destroyed brands like The Late Show, but it's also destroying careers. When these people thought it would save their careers.
Yeah, I love it. It's like a whole lineup of people leaving, like Rosie O'Donnell, Ellen DeGeneres. You got Howard Stern, who used to be good. I mean, I remember he was like a rock star in the 90s. And remember, he's got like a $500 million Sirius FM contract. That is, well, sunsetting like he should be. He's just not viable anymore. Remember, he endorsed Hillary Clinton. Like, what common man do you think he is endorsing Hillary Clinton? And then on top of that, he was yelling at people for not wearing their masks or getting the jab. It's like, wow.
Yeah, he's become the opposite. He's become everything that he used to make fun of back in the day when he was actually funny. And who can forget this gem sucking up to Kamala Harris before the election, trying to convince his 6 viewers, or listeners, or whatever, 6 listeners, that he was that he has influence.
All right, let's see it.
I'm wondering about this. With all this pressure on you right now, and you've got to win, you just have to. I really believe we're in for the darkest skies on the planet. Like the sun's literally going to go out. This is how I feel. Mm-hmm. And God bless you for doing this, because I'm really afraid that good people, bright people are discouraged from going into public service now. They're like, I don't need it. I don't want to be threatened. I don't want to be told that, I'm for science and I'm an idiot. All
right, let's keep in mind, this guy tried to run for governor of New York and didn't do it because he had to release his finances. So just keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
Yes. I distinctly remember, because all this New York politics is always stuck in my head. As a matter of fact, I believe that's one of the years that Al Lewis ran on the Green Party ticket.
Yeah. And you know what? That was probably Kamala Harris's best interview, where she didn't say a word.
Yeah,
it actually worked for her. She just had to go,
But watching Stern slobber all over Kamala Harris was probably, and seeing that, his old fans watching that on YouTube just for laughs, and thinking, I can't laugh at this anymore. That was now officially sad.
It was sad when it aired. What was he aiming for anyway? Like, he probably, he doubled. This is the problem with not only Howard Stern, but Hollywood and anyone in the entertainment industry. They doubled and tripled down on this ideology that no one bought into at all from the very beginning. And now it's completely out of fashion, and they can't walk it back, because you can't walk back something once you say it, right? And it's like, he can't just say, oh, I just had come to Jesus moment, and I don't believe in any of the stuff that I said before. He's done. I'm happy to see him done. I mean, he sunsetted a long, long time ago. So Sirius FM certainly has a huge future without Howard Stern.
It's just time. The woke shows are going to die. Probably the only one left will be The View after a while. That's it.
Oh, gosh.
I know.
But they do provide great material for our show almost every single week. So we can't really roast the roast. But yeah, well, look, I thank you guys for joining us for episode 43. I can't believe we've made it this far. I hope everyone's having a great, great summer. But we're going to continue on our anti-woke train in future episodes. So do come back and do hit that subscribe button. We like it when you do that.